Okay, part 2 to my video on the biggest storylines and deaths in Top Boy. This part's going to be a bit shorter than the last one because, like I said, the newer Top Boy seasons, they're not as exciting to me. They're not as good to me as the original. So there's not going to be as many storylines that I liked. So the first storyline I want to talk about was season 3, and that is the storyline about Modie. This one is not really exciting like that. It's quite funny, I would say. Is Modie getting out of jail? That was just unrealistic for starters, but it was funny, I can't lie. Him saying daily offender, crazy EastEnder, like Modie, stick to rapping, bro. Stick to rapping, because the roles just ain't for you, man. It's just you're not built for the roles. This is not for you. Stick to rapping. Stick to making albums like psychodrama and all that shit, because your character was definitely a psycho. So, but yeah, stick to making albums like psychodrama. Stick to rapping, man, because his character was just so dumb and reckless, man, just moving mad. This guy gets out of prison. You know the feds are looking for you, but you're bringing so much attention to yourself, making yourself so bait rather than staying low key, and just bringing so much attention to himself and that. And obviously he had the eye injury in it because of what Thingy threw acid at him in jail, Sully. So he went to get his eye checked out and that with this weird undercover doctor. And I explained in my video, in one of my other videos, that I think that Jermaine would actually set Modie up to die. Why? Because he was a liability, and he knew that the longer that Modie lives, the longer that not only is he going to bring himself down, he's going to bring Jermaine down and the entire organization down. And he's going to go to... Jermaine probably feared going to jail because of Modie's mess ups, because of Modie's fuck ups, because of Modie not listening, and Modie making himself bait rather than staying low key, rather than staying on the low. So I think that's why he thought, you know what, this guy's got to go. He's got to go back to music, go back to making albums and that. Stick to rapping, because he needs to be off the roads. He's too much of a liability. I think that was Jermaine's mindset, and I explained in that video. It's cool. I think it's called Jermaine. Why I think Jermaine set Modie up to die, something like that, or why Jermaine set Modie up, it's called Did Jermaine Set Modie Up? But yeah, check that video out as well. But yeah, like I said, that storyline between Modie, quite funny, and him, and the whole scene with the doctor. If you guys don't remember that scene, that was hilarious. The doctor saying, "Oh yeah, I fixed so many people's eyes. I've seen eye injuries a lot worse than yours. I've seen eye injuries a lot worse than yours." And Modie's like, "Oh, you fixed them, yeah? You fixed them, and you restored their vision and that." And the doctor's like, "Oh, more or less." Man said more or less. But yeah, that scene was quite funny. And then literally moments later, Modie dies in that, innit, because he's driving, the feds catch him, and then they shoot him in it because they think he's making a move, but he's just touching his eye. So yeah, Modie, funny character. But yeah, that's one of the stories that I liked because of the humor, really. Another storyline that I liked was Dushane's whole plan to get Jamie arrested. That was just so damn strategic and smart, and I've elaborated on that in other videos. But yeah, that was a brilliant, because Jamie won the battle, but Dushane won the war. And I say Jamie won the battle because what he was doing at first, it was working, it was effective, it was somewhat smart. His plan was to attack Dushane's shotters, get them off the road, because if Dushane's shotters are not on the road, Dushane can't sell his food, and if Dushane can't sell his food, he's out of competition, he's out of business. So it was a smart plan. So he attacked some of the guys. He went with the rest of the ZT's gang to attack some of the shotters that were shotting for Dushane. I think he threw acid at one guy, and the other guy got stabbed. I think that was Romy who got stabbed. And we saw a bit more of Romy in season 4. But yeah, it was him that got stabbed. And the other guy, he got acid thrown at him. And yeah, that was leaving Dushane with some problems. So Dushane had to think, how can I make a counter move? And he saw an opportunity with Ats. Ats wanted to shot. Axe's Jamie's little brother's best friend. Axe wanted to shot, and he thought to himself, do you know what? If I can get Axe in my back pocket, this is really, really good for me. If I can control Axe, I can control the little brother, and therefore I can control Jamie. And so he got Axe to work for him for free by pretty much lying to Axe, making it seem like Axe lost the bag because he got Jack to give Axe this bag, right? And it wasn't even containing any product. It was just literally paper, right? Literally paper. And that's not even a name for something else. It was literally just paper in that bag, from what I believe. And they got Jack to give Axe that bag, go out of country, go to Manchester and that. But Kieran was the one that would follow them. Kieran's in the hood. He would follow them, and Kieran would take the bag from the kids and that. And after taking the bag from the kids, they would give it back to Dushane. But the kids, Steph and Axe, they would think that they just got robbed. They would think that that they failed the mission, they got robbed. And Jack would make them believe that by just shouting at them, telling them, how could you lose our bag? And that was all in order to get them to work for Dushane and Jack for free, pretty much. So Jack's like shouting at them, saying, how could you lose our bag? How could you lose that shit? Now you gotta work for free, blah blah. And then when Steph and Axe leave now, Dushane comes out of nowhere and says, okay, now we've got them in our back pocket. And Jack says, oh, I feel bad for them, and that. So yeah, that was just a plan set up to get Axe to work for Dushane for free, pretty much, and it worked, because Axe didn't suspect a thing. Axe didn't know that it was Kieran that actually stole the bag. Don't think he saw the face properly. So what happens next is that Jack gives Axe this new bag now, and it's implied from the scene, even though Jack doesn't say this, it's implied in the scene that Axe has to put the bag in Jamie's house, because that's exactly what he does. Even though Jack never says it in the scene, it's inferred, it's implied. So yeah, Jack gives Axe this bag and says, you gotta do this for free now because you messed up on the last one. But he didn't, though. He was tricked by Dushane. And now Axe goes in that bag. If you guys remember, it was this bright green bag now. He goes in to Jamie's house. He's very, very quiet, acting all weird. And he puts the bag, I think, in the wardrobe or something like that. And then he leaves. And then now that allows, after that's done, Jamie calls the feds now. Because in that bag now this bag is actually containing illegal stuff. This bag contains, I think, just some product and some guns. And so Dushane tips off the feds. He calls them and says, basically gives Jamie's address and says, there's this bright green bag, it has a load of product and guns and that. And the feds come now, find the bag. Everyone's taken into interrogation, and Jamie takes the rap for it, and Dushane knowing that that's what Jamie would have done. So brilliant execution of the plan. Controlled Axe, got Axe to work for him for free, got Axe to put the bag in Jamie's house and that for free. And then all he has to do now is just call the feds now, tell them what's in the bag, blah blah blah, all that stuff. And it worked to perfection. So that was a very smart plan. In terms of, obviously it's not moral, nothing in this show is, but in terms of the foresight and the ability to think 2-3 moves ahead, the chess move, it was a brilliant strategy. Whereas Jamie's strategy was just, if you see Dushane and Sully, attack them, like come with baseball bats and knives, like beat them up. No strategy, no plan, no nothing. Yeah, like that just showed that Dushane is a lot smarter than Jamie, really. And I think that's how season 3 ended, really. Dushane went to Jamie's prison and offered him that deal. And he also got the CCTV taken out of Jamie's sight, pretty much, by going to Ruben and paying off Ruben to basically remove the CCTV of Jamie's phone, so that way he wouldn't see Axe go into his place. Just this guy was just covering all bases. Talk about covering all bases, Brilliant from Dushane, brilliant strategy. And yeah, like I said, it worked brilliantly. But that was one of my favorite storylines. Why? Because it was just brilliant strategic planning. And yeah, I like to see brilliant strategic planning in these shows. So that's why I like that storyline. In terms of season 4, there weren't that many storylines that I really liked, you know. I'll be real. I'm trying to think, what storylines did I like in season 4? I think that whole plan of between Chash and Meunier to catch out, to find out that Krito was the Stitch. I like that whole plan because they knew that since Krito replaced the bags for since the bags contain newspapers, right? They would know that Krito was the Snitch because they didn't tell Krito that there was going to be a new shipment coming in, from what I believe. And so they knew that Krito was the mole because of that. And obviously they offed Krito, they killed him. I like that whole plan. I'm not going to go into too much detail in terms of the whole strategy behind that whole and how it worked and whatnot. The whole strategy behind exactly how they knew that Krito was a snitch and all that stuff. I'm not going to go into too much detail of that because I've already gone into that in my review for episodes 1 to 4 of season 4 Top Boy. Go check that out if you want to. But yeah, that storyline was decent. It wasn't bad. What else was good? That's about it, you know. There weren't that many storylines that I really liked this season. This season was a bit disappointing. It really was. Obviously, we saw Jack beat up that guy, but why is Jack the only person in the show that got into some proper violence? There wasn't that much violence in, like, this is a gangster crime drama. I want to see more violence, if I'm being honest. But they turned it from an 18 to a 15. I have no idea why, because this is the only season that's a 15. And there were far less adult themes, you could tell. And that's one of the reasons why this season wasn't as good. As well as the fact that the storylines weren't as good too. But yeah, they should not have made it to a 15, man. Because yeah, why is Jack the only character that was actually throwing hands? And she's a girl. Yeah, I thought this season very disappointing. I think it should have been a lot better. It should not have been a 15. It should have been an 18 like the previous seasons. But yeah, that's the only storylines that I really liked from the last couple seasons of Top Boy. I think season 3 was better than season 4, definitely. Season 4 so far has been the worst season. It wasn't awful, but it wasn't great either. I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10. I would say season 4. Season 3 was like a 7, I would say. So yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Leave your comments in the leave your thoughts in the comment section below. What storylines did you guys like from season 3 or season 4 that I didn't mention? And what's your thoughts on everything I said in the video? Yeah, hit the like button if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And yeah, in a bit.